We, the majority caucus, called you this evening to express our disappointment at the turn of events by Mr. Speaker. Well, we all know that in this Chamber of Parliament, we proceed on matters, reach consensus, and take decisions. I do not think that issue about adjournment and the reopening of Parliament is purely administrative. It is always as a result of a decision of both sides of the House in consultation with Mr. Speaker. And it is upon when we've agreed on set dates that by an administrative legal process we trigger the necessary procedure to recall, to reopen, and all. I heard a few days ago about this adjournment synod, and I must say, in all sincerity, that I engaged those I had to engage. And I was getting to a certain understanding that we could reach some consensus considering the number of business that we had as a House. Of course, I can also understand the constraints of Mr. Speaker, given the fact that the first Deputy Speaker is out of the jurisdiction, the second Deputy Speaker is also out of the jurisdiction. However, our rules permit or allows us to have a member presiding. So I still hold the view that Mr. Speaker could still have traveled for the NCSL program in the United States. I, for instance, I am billed for that travel, but I don't think that it is more important than government business that I'm undertaking. The ECOWAS Parliament is having a delocalized meeting in Ghana, and for that matter, my constituency. But immediately they opened the session, I rushed to Accra without any delay, because in spite of the fact that, my colleagues were managing government business, I felt that we do this together. So somebody gets in, somebody gets out. I was in the chamber. I called for motion 23, which had to do with the 250 million facility from the World Bank. And I signaled my colleague, Dr. Atufosin, to meet with me so that we discuss the nominees, the Supreme Court nominees. Because you have, as you may be well aware, earlier, the Minority Chief Whip had raised some issues regarding the vetting process. And I didn't want a situation where there was going to be a repeated banter. It was when we were in that discussion, the minority leader, my good self, my deputy, and some committee members were in that discussion on the sixth floor in the Deputy Majority Whip's office when monitoring proceedings on the telly. We sadly realized that Mr. Speaker was about adjourning synod. Surprisingly, he did not give his closing remarks. Neither did he allow leaders to even make certain remarks, which have become part of the practice of Parliament. And these are worrying, very worrying. That notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker is the father of Parliament. He presides. We don't want to go into any banter with him. We will not act in a manner disrespectful of the chair, except to say that we vehemently disagree with the unilateral decision to adjourn the House in India. Anyway, what is our next step? We are, with immediate effect, going to engage our caucus with the sole aim at getting the necessary consent of members to procure their signatories to recall the House in accordance with law. So expect to see a recall request from us. This is democracy, and we have to use the tools of democracy to achieve a means. And we will not get into any disrespectful act. We would respect the chair and also invoke our rights under the law so that government business can be prosecuted on the House floor. It's as simple as